Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to be talking about graphing cube root functions. You will need your notebook, pencil and or pen, and a calculator. Let us begin. Alright, we're going to look at the parent function of a cube root. We're going to start the same way, same idea as when we did our square root. So if we start here, x, y, if I would try -2, I'm going to plug this in my calculator, cube root of -2. I'm actually going to get an answer this time, you guys. It's going to be -1.3 because when we are doing cube roots, it's okay to have negative answers, okay, because we're taking it to the third power, because it'd be negative times a negative times a negative is still going to come out as negative. So move on, we're going to do -1. Cube root of -1 is just going to be -1. Then we're going to do 0. Cube root of 0 is just 0. And last but two more. We'll do a +1 and a -2. Now, if we do the cube root of 1, we're just going to get 1. We do the cube root of 2, and we're going to get a +1.3. So this graph is going to look something like this. We'll start here at 0, 0, and we'll go off in one direction, and then we're going to go off in the other direction as well. Now, if I can pick any x value that I want, and I can get any y value that I want, that means there's not going to be any restraints on our domain and range. So for every cube root, every single one of them, ladies and gentlemen, you can use all real numbers. Alright? So the domain is going to be x such that x equals all real numbers. And the range is going to be y such that y equals all real numbers. Every time, ladies and gentlemen. Every time. Alright. Moving on. Now, you guys, this first part, you guys, please don't write down the stuff we've already gone over. Do not write this down, okay? We're just going to talk about shifting again. Don't write down this first part. So here, this -4 makes us go right 4. This +5 is going to make us go up 5. The negative out in front, remember, is going to make us have a reflection. Now, number 4 here's got a lot going on. The 2 out in front is going to compress our graph. It's going to make it skinnier, okay? Now, this +1 is going to make us go left 1. This -3 right here is going to make me go down 3. Okay. Now, this next whole section right here, you guys, all of this in here, it's going to be something like this. I want this to go into our notes, okay? So get this next part in our notes. This is our general setup for our cube root. So once again, anything on the outside is going to be our vertical shift. Okay, so it's going to make us go up or down. Anything on the inside our square root, is going to make us go to the left or to the right. The number in front of our cube root is going to either stretch or compress. So it's going to make it either skinnier or fatter. Okay? And then last but not least, that negative is going to be a reflection. It's going to make our graph look the opposite way. So make sure you get this little section in your notes, okay, where we're getting everything from. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we're going to make our table and graph this cube root function. Now, when we're starting like this, our x and our y, if you notice from our parent function, the center one was where it met, and then they went in opposite directions. So when we're working with this, we are going to start in the middle. Our starting point is going to be in the middle. And once again, like we did with our square root, with our cube root, we're going to take these numbers. So this is going to be my x, this is going to be my y. But my x, remember, ladies and gentlemen, that's got to be the opposite of -2. So we have 2 here. So it's going to be 2, 1 is our starting point. Right, we'll go 2 above this and 2 below this. So we'll do 1, 0, 3, and 4. Now we're just going to plug these in. So for 0, we're going to do the cube root of 0 minus 2 plus 1. So we have the cube root of negative 2 plus 1, which is going to equal negative 0.3. Do the same thing for 1. We'll have the cube root of 1 minus 2 plus 1, which equals the cube root of negative 1 plus 1. Cube root of negative 1 is just negative 1. Plus 1 is going to be 0 here. Now we'll come down here to 3. We have the cube root of 3 minus 2 plus 1, which equals the cube root of 1 plus 1, which is going to equal 2. And last but not least, we have the cube root of 4 minus 2 plus 1, which equals the cube root of 2 plus 1, which equals 2.3. Now we're going to graph this. Our lovely graph. I'm going to start with my start point. So I have 2, 1 right here. Now I'll go up. I'll have 1, 0, 0, negative 0.3, and then I have 3, 2, and 4, 2.3. So my graph is going to look something like this. Make sure you spread it out. I want it going further. It's going to look like this. One's going one direction, one's going the other direction. And now we should remember this. Since we can pick any x and we can get any y value out, our domain and range for all of these are going to be all real. So x such that x equals all real numbers, and y such that y equals all real numbers. And that is all, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on to our last example. Now, if we look at this one, doesn't have a cube root. But if we think back, we know that 1/3 is saying the same as a cube root. So I'm going to rewrite this problem for us. It's going to be negative 2 times the cube root. Whatever's in parentheses goes under our radical symbol. So we have x plus 5. And then outside of our radical symbol, we're going to put that plus 1. So the one in the black and the one in the green, they're the same functions. I just rewrote it as a cube root instead of to the 1/3 power. So we come back over here. We need to make our tables. We have x, y. This is going to be our start right in the middle. Okay, whenever we do cube roots, we're starting in the middle. So we have, for x value, we have a positive 5. Our y value, we have a 1. Remember, we have to do the opposite of positive 5. So we're going to get negative 5, 1 for our start position. Do 2 above, 2 below. So I have negative 6, negative 7, negative 4, negative 3. Now we're just going to plug these in. So for 7, we'll have negative 2. Don't forget about that negative, or it's going to change your work. So negative 2 times the cube root of negative 7 plus 5 plus 1, which equals negative 2 times the cube root of negative 2 plus 1. And our answer is going to be 3.5 after we put that in our calculator, okay? Put this in your calculator to get your answer, okay? Moving on, we have negative 2 times the cube root of negative 6 plus 5 plus 1, which is going to equal negative 2 times the cube root of negative 1 plus 1, which is just going to give us 3. Come down here, we'll do 4. So we have negative 2 times the cube root of negative 4 plus 5 plus 1, which equals negative 2 times the cube root of 1 plus 1, which is going to give us negative 1. Now our last one right here, negative 2 times the cube root of negative 3 plus 5 plus 1. This will simplify to negative 2 times the cube root of 2 plus 1, which is approximately negative 1.5. Now we'll graph this one. Start at the middle. We have negative 5, 1 right here. And then we have negative 6, 3. And negative 7, 3.5. And over here we have negative 4, negative 1. And negative 3, negative 1.5. Now this one looks like this, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to go over this way, and then we're going to go over this way. So it's been flip-flop from the last one we just did. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, domain and range, we can pick any x value. We can get any y value. So both of these are going to be all real numbers. X such that x equals all real numbers. And y such that y equals all real numbers. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful, fabulous day, and I will be seeing you soon. Bye. Say.